Hey there, and thanks for checking out this video. My name's Chris, and I'm from Tech Coaches. With this tutorial, I want to help you schedule Zoom calls using the program installed on your Windows 10 computer. This here is called the Zoom launch page. You'll notice down in the bottom left corner there's a schedule button. This is the one that's going to allow us to invite attendees to our video call ahead of time. Let's go ahead and give that a click, and we'll fill out the form that it gives us. First thing we've got to do, give it a topic. So let's go ahead, type in test Zoom meeting. And then we're going to notice that right below that, it wants us to set the date for the meeting and the time. So currently it says it's April 29. It wants to suggest 12 o'clock as a start time. I don't want that. What I want is 11:30. So I'm going to go ahead, change that to 11:30, and I want to make sure that I adjust PM to say AM instead. Then we're going to look down here where it says meeting ID. That looks okay. We're going to leave that just as it is. Then we're going to consider, do we want to have a password on our meeting room or no? It adds an extra step for those that are attending. They will have to type in the password that's provided here. Otherwise, you can uncheck this box and then they will not be required to enter that password. One thing that you should know, it does add a little bit of extra security to your meeting room. So if that sort of thing is important to you, then I would probably recommend employing this password option. I'll take it off for this example, but I'll leave that to your discretion to decide. I'm going to then leave the video and the audio options just as they are. And the next thing I want to confirm is that down here under the calendar heading, we have other calendars selected. This is important because we want it to generate some information for us to copy, and this is the only way that we can get it to do that properly. So do be sure that you select that option. Now I'm going to go ahead and push on the schedule button, and I'm going to see now that important information that I just mentioned that I wanted to copy. They give us this handy copy to clipboard option here, so I'm going to go ahead and click that button, and then I don't have to worry about copying that information manually myself. From this point here, I have everything needed to invite people to the meeting. So the next step is going to be open up my email and send them a note that invites them. Let's go ahead and do that using the Google Chrome browser that I have here. What I want to do is compose a new message, and I want to include all of the people that I want invited to this meeting. So I'm just going to invite my one colleague. Then I'm going to give them an informative subject so that they know what to expect. And then I'm going to use my right-click paste option on my Windows 10 computer. And that's going to put all of that information copied to the clipboard right into the body of the email here. And now all I have to do is push send, and those people will now be invited. Once everyone's been invited via email to your Zoom meeting and you've reached the day and the time that you're ready to host that meeting, you'll notice that on the Zoom launch screen, it says our test Zoom meeting is ready to go now, and we're given this blue start button to launch the meeting. So let's go ahead and push that. From there, Zoom starts to load. It's very typical that you would likely have to turn on your start video. So let's go ahead and click on that. That should turn on my camera. Here we go. Perfect. And now you can see as well my colleague who I've invited, Melinda, she's ready to come into the meeting. So I have this admit button. So I have to click that. Until that point, she's not in the meeting. So let's go ahead and bring her into the mix. Awesome. Hey, Melinda, how are you?
Good, Chris. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing very well, thanks. So the first thing that I wanted to do is I'm going to maximize my screen. I'm going to let it fill everything up so that we have a good recording of everything here. And I wanted to point that there's a couple of options up in the top corner. This currently says speaker view. You'll notice it switches the screens between one large image and a number of smaller images. What I would encourage is if you have more than two people in on a meeting, it's very beneficial to have what's called gallery view turned on, because it's going to share the real estate on the screen with as many people as it can versus only having one large image of the current speaker. So I hope that makes sense why you would want to have gallery versus only speaker view when you have a larger group of people. Something else that I wanted to point at is down here at the bottom of my screen as a host, I can see it says participants. So when I click on that, it breaks out on the side of the screen here on the right, and it lists out all of the different participants that are joining me here in the meeting. So what I'm able to do at that point is I can hover over any particular individual, and I can see that there's a mute button. So currently I'm able to mute Melinda's microphone. So let's see if that works. So I just muted Melinda. You can see on her little video here, there's a red microphone. That suggests she's not able to say anything. Can you say something, Melinda? Doesn't look like it. No. So I'm going to unmute Melinda. Here we go. Are you back online?
I think so.
Okay, nice one. That's great. Melinda, did you want to add anything in? Should we be talking about any other functions in Zoom here?
Yeah, there's a few features that I wanted to talk about in the participants panel. The first one is the raise hand feature. This is a polite way to indicate that you'd like to chime in on the conversation or even ask a question. Secondly, participants can answer yes or no to a posed question. Chris, do you happen to see my response there?
I do, yeah. You've got a green check mark by your name now.
Fantastic. One thing I like about this feature is that for the host, it does tally the responses. But hosts, be sure to select the clear all feature before asking another question.
Gotcha. So I'll push that now, and it cleared it
Fantastic.
out.
Good stuff. I'd also like to talk about the meeting chat. This allows participants and hosts to communicate through messages. Now, don't be alarmed if you don't have the chat feature open. If someone does send a chat, it will illuminate your chat feature on the meeting controls.
Yeah, I just had a number 1 pop up on mine. So I'm going to go ahead, give that a click. And then it does open over here on the right-hand side of my screen, and I can see that you said hi.
Fantastic. So you can also choose to send a private message just to one participant. And to do that, you'd click on the little arrow beside everyone.
Right, I see that here. And then I see, just because there's only 2 of us in this meeting, it's only your name, but that could be a list of like 5 different people if there were that many in the meeting.
You got it.
That's great. Good stuff. Another very handy function is the share screen feature. So I'll actually demo that for you right now, Melinda. I'm going to click this share screen button, and maybe I wanted to show you a PowerPoint presentation, for example, that we were trying to review. So I'm going to already have that file open on my computer. Now I'm able to see that. I can go ahead, click it, click on share. And now what I'm doing is I'm actually sharing everything in my PowerPoint with Melinda. So do you see everything that would be displayed on my screen right now, Melinda?
I do.
Cool. So you can see how that would be very helpful, because if you had 8 people in on this meeting, we could all be viewing the same Excel spreadsheet or Word file or PowerPoint presentation, whatever the case might be. And all I have to do to stop doing that is come up here to the top of the screen. There is a red stop share button. I'll go ahead and give that a click. And what that does is it just returns us back to our video chat. So with all that said, unless you have something else to add, Melinda, I think we've covered all of our bases here.
I think that's it.
Cool. With all that, see you later. I'm going to end this meeting.
Bye.
To do that, I'm going to go down to the bottom right corner. There's a red end button. I give that 1 click, and then it pops up with another end meeting for all button. So I'll give that a click, and that should be everything.